There is a question that is very close to my heart. Bobby Banerjee says, in the solutions you have articulated, green economy, rental economy, innovation, entrepreneurship, I'm wondering if there is an implicit assumption that all these are possible in the current paradigm that privileges economic growth without using the prefix sustainable that magically transforms economic growth as a solution to the climate emergency? Can you have innovation without growth? A Green Deal without economic growth? Thank you, Bobby, for this question.
No, I am a big fighter against this degrowth idea. The poor of the world will not allow us not to grow. We need a lot of wealth, but what do we need? We need to change the nature of growth, not the rhythm. We need more growth, but the nature. I mean, right now we are producing value. The question of what is value is a big question, a very central question today. And the whole idea that growth is all about using all the materials of the planet, that is getting stuck in the mass production paradigm, in that wasteful, energy intensive, materials intensive, that old paradigm, which is obsolete. That's what allows people to think that we cannot grow. We can grow even this rental model. This rental model means, imagine, no more spare parts. That's tons of material and energy that we save. Having a refrigerator that can last for 5 people's lives rather than 5 refrigerators for every life. So, it's a radical change, sharing economy, so that instead of having to have everybody have their own bits of things, we can share whenever we need them, all the things that, there are so many things that we only need every once in a while, including cars, by the way. So we have to rethink the whole thing, and we need high productivity. So we will need robots in one part of the economy. We will need artificial intelligence in one part of the economy, ethically used. We've got to regulate and we've had to, but basically the change that has to come about is one that changes the nature of growth, but does not change its rhythm. It actually increases its rhythm because we have to include everybody. This has got to be the revolution that lifts all boats, that every single country will grow. And the reason why we need every single country to grow is because we also need to be able to produce in the advanced world the engineering and the capital goods that are sustainable so that the developing world can develop. And for that, we're going to need special taxes and all the rest, because without that, the Chinese would be the only ones that are producing consumer goods. We need a much bigger global economy, but of course, with significantly reduced use of materials and also biomaterials, circular materials. It's a different way of growing, and it's a lot of services, a lot of intangibles. It's a long discussion that, it would take the whole webinar to discuss that. And it's very important to stop associating saving the planet with degrowth or no growth or whatever. I think that is a very dangerous Malthusian attitude, which we must reject.
I think this is fascinating. I think we should organize another webinar just to discuss growth versus degrowth, because I know Bobby well. I sympathize with many of the people that, even in my research, that in the ground that talk about, for example, in plastics, the impossibility of dealing with all the waste that we are using, and first we need to think about how to think differently, how to consume differently, and maybe then we can think about how to grow differently. But this is very, very interesting. Thank you, Carlota. Stelvia, you want to say something about this point, or?
Yes. I was going to say that I definitely agree with the need to change our thoughts and what we think about what growth means. The nature of growth has to change. And speaking about the way of consuming things, I think we have a lot to learn from the global South, because they've always been, they've been living all their lives by having to save energy. They have to save, they don't have the money to pay, so they have to be conscious about not spending much. They don't spend much plastics and paper. So we actually need to listen more carefully and learn those lessons from this way of living in a positive way, in a productive way.
Yeah, thank you. And I guess this tries to answer a bit the question, the second question that Bobby is writing, like who is we, right? And this is a whole debate, but Stelvia is bringing the global south perspective, which is what also we wanted to do in this debate.